About 7 months ago, we took a look at the RSL Speedwoofer 10S, which is a very popular $400 ported subwoofer with a 10-inch aluminum cone driver and a built-in 350 watt Class D amplifier. In that review, I said this. But it wasn't until after I finished this review that I realized saying this sub is just a good bargain is pretty much the understatement of the year. Well, it's a new year, and since then, we've reviewed a lot of different subwoofers, and thanks to RSL, we have an opportunity to revisit this one and see if it still stacks up to the competition. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then stick around and we'll get into it right after the intro. Alright, so as we mentioned about 7 months ago, we reviewed the RSL Speedwoofer 10S subwoofer, and if you want to check out that video, we'll leave a link in the description below. Since then, we've reviewed a lot of other subwoofers, one of which was the SVS SB1000, and we've had a lot of people ask us how the Speedwoofer compares. But before we get into that though, let's do a quick recap of all the most important features of the Speedwoofer 10S. On the front, we have a pretty nice 10-inch aluminum cone driver mounted inside RSL's compression guide cabinet. It's a pretty solid box with a slotted port on the bottom, and the cabinet is designed so that the back wave produced by the driver is guided out the front, reducing cabinet resonance and keeping every bass note sounding tight and clean. Powering the driver is a 350 watt RMS Class D amplifier with some basic controls at the back, like volume, phase, and crossover knobs, and even a built-in wireless audio receiver to use with the optional wireless transmitter. 2021 model Speedwoofers come with the AT3 compatible receiver, which RSL claims offers up to a 50-foot range, reduced latency, better automatic wireless channel selection, and even the ability to run 4 Speedwoofers from a single transmitter. RSL was kind enough to send one of these transmitters over to us for testing, and I have to say that I'm pretty impressed. The wireless held up pretty well, and we didn't notice any kind of delay. We'll make sure to talk more about this during our review of the RSL CG5 and CG25 5.1 speaker system, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Other than that, the Speedwoofer 10S has a rated frequency response between 24 and 200 Hz, with substantial output down to 20 Hz, a claim that we completely agree with. Alright, with all that said, before I get into some comparisons, I want to talk about some of the things that we wanted to cover in the original review that we didn't have time to mention. The first of which is the cabinet resonance. So we went ahead and did the old glass of water on top of the subwoofer trick and ran some demo tracks at a higher level than we usually watch movies at, just to see what would happen. And as you can see here, thankfully the cabinet does a pretty good job handling all of the energy being produced by the driver without moving around all that much, all while still sounding pretty clean and articulate. Another thing we didn't talk a lot about last time is the outward appearance of the Speedwoofer. In our original review, we took a look at a black Speedwoofer, but this time around we obviously got a white one, which I really like. All around the cabinet is this really nice matte white material that seems to be durable and does a really good job at hiding little scratches and imperfections. Around the slotted port you have this nice glossy white finish with the RSL logo that I personally think looks great. Now the Speedwoofer also comes with a cloth grille, but one thing we need to mention here is if you get the white Speedwoofer, it normally comes with a white grille, and the black Speedwoofer will come with a black grille. But if you prefer to have a black grille with your white Speedwoofer, or vice versa, just let RSL know, and for an extra $20, they'll add one into your Speedwoofer box. After having a while to listen to the Speedwoofer 10S and get familiar with it again, I instantly remembered our first review, and I have to say that this subwoofer still sounds pretty incredible for the size and price. It's built very solid, sounds great, and even comes with a built-in wireless receiver. It's really just amazing what you get here for the $400 price tag. Now, with all that said, as we mentioned at the beginning of this video, we've reviewed a few more subs since our initial review of the Speedwoofer 10S, and a lot of people have been asking us how the Speedwoofer stacks up against the SVS SB1000. Right off the bat, you're talking about a sealed subwoofer against a ported subwoofer, so you can probably guess that the Speedwoofer is going to have more output than the SB1000, but that's not the whole story here. The SB1000 is a very clean and controlled subwoofer, but of course, being a sealed cabinet, the SB1000 isn't taking advantage of half of the energy that the 12-inch driver is producing. And what I mean by that is you're only hearing the front wave of the driver while the back wave is being lost into the cabinet. On the other hand, the Speedwoofer is both ported and has a larger cabinet volume, so even though it only has a 10-inch driver, the Speedwoofer is letting you hear both the front and the back waves being produced by the driver, leading to a very noticeable increase in output. In the end, it's a matter of what you value more. If you want to save money and get as much great sounding output as you can for your dollar, the Speedwoofer is pretty much unbeatable. On the other hand, if you want a slightly quicker, tighter sounding subwoofer that will perform better for some types of music, and you're willing to spend $100 more for a little less output, the SB1000 is definitely a great option. Now, unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to take a look at the new SB1000 Pro that now includes the built-in DSP, but we expect it to perform pretty much the same. We feel both these subwoofers are a super good value, so it's pretty much going to boil down to the kind of bass you prefer as well as your budget. And with all of that, I think it's time to answer the question, is it still worth buying an RSL Speedwoofer 10S in 2021? Well, RSL is having a hard time keeping them in stock due to the massive demand, and they're on pre-order until sometime in late August, which I think shows just how popular these subs are. We absolutely believe that the RSL Speedwoofer 10S is a fantastic choice for a moderately priced subwoofer in 2021. And if you're in the market for a great subwoofer at the $400 mark, you should definitely make sure to consider this subwoofer. And of course, another thing to consider is at this price, you could easily get a second Speedwoofer and have some serious dual subwoofer output for your music or home theater setup. And with all of that said, I think it's time to wrap up this video. Make sure to check out our original review of the RSL Speedwoofer 10S, and we'll be sure to leave a link in the description as well as an end card so you can check that out. We'll also leave a link below to RSL's website so you can check out the Speedwoofer 10S for yourself. And while you're there, you can also check out their other products like the CG3 and the CG5 lines of speakers. If you want to chat about home theater, technology, and a bunch of other topics, don't forget to join our Discord community. Again, the link is in the description. Please let us know if you have any other questions or comments on the RSL Speedwoofer 10S in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to answer them. If you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. And as always, have an awesome day.